It used to be. Oh, is going to be talked to Andrew. But if you only want the freebie, the one line, go into the MLS and schedule open house. You'll have two options, public or private, private being for brokers only, which is Tuesday. And that, when you put it in, it automatically goes in there. It'll be online and in that, what you're looking at right there.
The private.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for brokers only. Yes, sir.
So under Benji,
Uh-huh.
Benji, can I check prices on
Yeah.
those?
It'll do condos.
Because I've tried and
Let me clarify. 1 minute, cool.
I tried using it, Scott, too, and it said like,
I used it sitting right here with one of our agents flying on it, right? Thank you. And it worked beautifully.
for condo.
No, it's for a single family, but I think it'll do condos.
Single families I can do.
I'll find out about condos. Yeah, it should work for condos. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Let's get going. Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So we were on Caravan yesterday. What do we have? 5 or 6 people on Caravan yesterday, Lynn?
I had the
Yeah,
best
about
food.
5, yes, it was awesome.
That was good food, right?
That was awesome.
So we had a really good turnout on Caravan. And again, if you want to go caravanning with us, the first people to get back to me with a text message that says I'm in for Tuesday, can ride with me, which is always exciting because of the way I drive. So if you text me at that number, you'll have the best odds of getting a seat in my car. And if not, you just follow along in another car, cram as many people in as you can. And if we get here by 10:30, we can always map out what we're gonna see that week so that everybody knows where we're gonna go one after the other. For those of you that caravan yesterday, was there value in it?
Absolutely.
Good, okay, we want to keep bringing value for caravan. Caravan is one of the most sacred things we have as real estate agents because it gives us a chance to learn inventory and get face time with other agents that we wouldn't get any other time. And that's what they're there for too, so we don't have to feel bad about it.
So can I just say something?
Yes, sir.
Going on a caravan with Scott is amazing because he knows what he's talking about. Everyone knows him. yesterday, $1 million listing house.
I saw it.
Next to there,
Jake's parents.
house that they've got, for sale. And they were complimenting Scott like crazy because we train or help them with something. So, I suggest always doing Scott.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. David and James, I don't think they're on $1 Million listing anymore because I wanted to focus on real estate. Interesting guys, really, really good guys, sweethearts, absolutely. I've never seen anybody work as hard as David and James worked to get started in real estate. And frankly, a close second is Joseph Barman. He's here every single day, banging away from start to finish in the day, and I commend you for that. So sometimes hard work pays off, and other times, if you can couple hard work with a little bit of intelligence and a little borrowed cool that we were talking about yesterday, Lynn, it really pays off. And David and James went from brand new rookies in the real estate world to $100 million a year producers in less than 10 years. From brand new to less than 10 years. So, and what they were talking about was they paid me to do a private contract training session for them, 1 hour a week for 10 weeks. To say that it was like herding cats would be an understatement. Those two guys are so high energy, ADD, ADHD, like you can't imagine. I had to lock the conference room door and confiscate their phones and glue them to the chairs, or they were climbing the walls and they couldn't focus for an hour at a time, but they got it done. So, and you know, they still, every time I see them or talk to them now, they remember some of the stuff we talked about. So that's important. And all of this kind of feathers into everything I want to go over today, which is quite a bit. Chris will not be joining us today. His wife, Kelly, is having a medical procedure, having her spine looked at by a specialist. So they're focused on that today. So Chris will not be here. But moving forward, I think what I want to start doing is I want to start doing on Mondays, I want to start doing Mindset Mondays. We did them. They've had several names over the years at all the previous brokerages I've been at. Mindset Monday seemed to be the one that everybody loved at Avenue 8. It's probably going to be about 1 hour long, right here in the classroom on Mondays. I don't have a time yet, but it will be announced. Sandy will get that sent out. And then in a week or two, a couple of weeks out, I want to start doing contract review probably on Fridays. And Friday is good because it's a calm day for most agents in our industry. And you got to set aside some time for that. That's usually about 2 hours out of your day. And I guarantee you will have it done ways that have never been done before. No matter how long you've been in the business, you've never seen it done this way before. I have a list of general questions that are really, really good qualifying questions for buyers when you're doing a buyer consultation. So in the car yesterday, we talked about confidence for a little bit. And nobody wants to hire an agent who is not confident in what they do for a living. Just like you wouldn't hire an attorney that's not confident or a surgeon that's not confident. You don't want to hire a CPA that's not confident. Well, nobody wants to hire an agent who's not confident. So your ability to ask them questions, and I will get this to Sandy so she can send it out, will be important for your confidence in your buyer presentations, your buyer consultations. And I was thinking this morning about, and I think I asked this question last week, as agents, what do we actually do? We are professional negotiators. So how many of us have taken the opportunity to go to CAR and sign up for one of their trainings where you get the cool little acronym that you put behind your name, which at Keller Williams, I got to figure everybody wants more acronyms, right? Because I've never seen as many acronyms as there are here. So imagine if after your name, you start collecting the acronyms, boom, 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 behind your name. The one that I give the most credence to is the CNE, which is for negotiation. Certified Negotiation Expert, CNE. CAR, I don't know what they charge for it. It's nominal, you know, whatever it is. But the confidence that comes from it, if a client ever asks you what that CNE means, and now you get to talk about that you've been certified in negotiation, which is what we do for a living, it's good stuff. So I would suggest that everybody go ahead and do all of that. Now, as far as our confidence goes, discipline is really important. And I saw a great quote this morning. I actually wrote it down. And it says, discipline is rarely enjoyable, but it is always profitable. And that kind of bolstered my thoughts on being an expert at what we do. And the first thing that we have to do if we want to be an expert in real estate is time block. You have to block out your time so that you can be efficient. Because distraction is everywhere. The internet, your phone, your dog, whatever, the TV, distraction is everywhere. And it's been proven that every time we get distracted, it takes 20 minutes to get our focus back. So you can get distracted, finally get your Zen back, get your focus back, and boom, there's another distraction. You can end up spending your entire day dealing with distractions rather than dealing with your focus. And at the end of the day, we clap ourselves on the back and go, man, I was busy today. But were we efficient? Were we productive? Never confuse being busy for being productive. The way to be productive is to time block. Live by a calendar. Put it in your CRM. I use Google Calendar because I don't really need a CRM for a lot of this. And I follow it. And sometimes I'll be buried in something and it goes, ding, and it gives me the 10-minute warning that, at 11 o'clock, I have to do X, Y, and Z. And I go, all right, I got to follow that. And now I have to get my mindset clear for that, whatever that 11 o'clock task is. And if I didn't finish the one that I'm working on, I make a note to finish it during the same time block that I have tomorrow so that I get that done. I might not finish it today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow in that same time block. And it becomes easier for me to get in that routine and remember what I'm doing on certain days at certain times. So I would invite you all to get good at time blocking to become really efficient in what you do. So in being an expert, the first step is you've got to know your market intimately. So when I say your market, I'm going to guess that Benjamin's market and Glenn's market are different. Different client base, different focus, whatever it may be. So that's what you need to focus on. Now, at the same time, collaboration is huge. We all want to know who do we go to for certain things. So if we follow the old adage, focus on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses, you want to know the people that understand the things that you're not good at. I've never done commercial, for instance. Commercial to me is so different than residential. I don't even want to attempt to learn commercial. But what I want to do when I have clients that want to do commercial is I want to have a good, either a referral partner or somebody that I can bring in to walk through the process, to show me the ropes, to help me through whatever that transaction is going to look like. So this is where the collaboration comes in, which is one of the things I love about this office is how well everybody gets along and communicates. So I never have to worry about what I don't know because I can focus on my strengths and delegate my weaknesses. And I know there's enough agents in this office doing commercial that I could get any question that I would ever have answered in probably 90 seconds efficiently. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to go online. Don't have to look it up. So you want to put yourself in those positions where you know who to go to for each one of those things. All right. So this right here, there's two pages of notes that I emailed myself this morning. And what it is it's a strategy list. It's, call it a checklist, you know, every pilot, you know, has to get on an airplane and check everything before they fly it. But I do these because I understand their value, I understand their importance. And I watch a lot of agents that are not organized enough to know how to articulate their value. And I know we say articulate your value a lot and it becomes tiresome and tedious to hear it, but it's true. And right now with all the changes going on in brokerage in general, and I was reading these articles this morning on everybody who just wants to burn NAR to the ground. Like, get rid of it, get us out, and areas coming on, you know, Mauricio's new AREA thing is coming on strong in a lot of places. And I look at it and I go, well, NAR, I think they got a little too full of themselves with the power that they control. But we wouldn't be where we are without NAR today. So we have to look at the good with the bad, ignore the bad, go with the good. To do that, I need to be able to articulate who I am. What are the good things that I learned from NAR, from CAR? What are the bad things that I don't want to take forward? All of the control stuff and whatnot. And the way to do that is to have a checklist that you can go through to explain to people what it is you bring to the table. You know, there was a poll that I mentioned a few months ago. Buyers that had bought houses in the last 3 years were polled. What did your agent do for you in the transaction? 86% of them had no idea. They could not say one thing that their agent did beyond writing the offer on a card. Whose fault is it that the buyers didn't know what their agent did for them? It's the agent's fault, right? So don't be a secret agent. Explain to people what you're going through. Work on a checklist. Imagine if you had a list. I mean, this is 4 inches of clarification, expectations, and what we're going to do for them. Imagine if it was memorized, if you had it in every buyer consultation you sat in, you could really explain your value. Most agents or most buyers think that our value is in finding them a property. And they go, and I don't need you for that because I've got Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Redfin, Realtor.com, whatever. They think they can go find it on their own. And guess what? They can. They can. They really don't need us to go find them most of the homes. So why is it that 89% of buyers nationwide buy a home with a buyer's agent? Because they think they can go find it on their own, but then they don't have a clue what to do once they find it. You know, like we talked about the dog that chases the bird and then they catch the bird and they go, oh my God, what do I do with the bird? They caught it and they didn't have a plan for after they had it. They just wanted the bird. So same thing for us. We have to be able to talk about what it is that we do. And I don't remember if we talked about it yesterday in the car or not. The most common question that you're going to get is, why you? Why would I hire you? Why would I work with you? Why would I want to have you as my agent? And there's 1,000 ways to ask that question. And the problem is, if you haven't thought about that question, if you have not done a role play with a couple of other agents to talk about asking, why would I hire you? If you haven't thought about it, somebody's going to ask you that question and you're going to fall flat on your face. I would rather fall flat on my face in a room full of my peers who can give me constructive feedback, knowing that they're up next. So their feedback is not just going to be catty and bullying tactics. It's going to be good feedback, because once we're done with me in the hot seat, I'm going to pass the torch, and now it's Steven in the hot seat. And he's got to do the exact same thing that I just did. And we watch how uncomfortable it is to do this stuff in front of our peers. We can do it in front of anybody. It's a God's honest truth. You can do it in front of anybody if you're willing to fail in front of your friends. So that's all part of being an expert. And then marketing. What are the 4 things every seller wants to know? They want to know what their house is worth. They want to know what they got to pay commission to get it done. They want to know who's going to take care of their house and take care of them in the process. And they want to know how you're going to market the home. Those are the four things in my experience every seller wants to know, even if they don't know they want to know it. When I sit in that room, I figure out that that's the four things that they're interested in. So how many of you can articulate your marketing plan to a client? Can you do it? If you can't do it, I will invite you to work on that today. Last week I asked if you got a phone call and somebody said, can you meet me in 2 hours to come and list my house or talk to me about selling my house? How many of you would be ready to go, calm, cool, and collected, out the door in the next 2 hours? And how many of you would it be a fire drill for the next 2 hours, running around, asking Sandy for stuff, and Anthony for stuff, and me for stuff, and Robert for stuff, and 5 of your friends for stuff? Oh my God, what do? I have to go meet this client in 2 hours. You don't want to do all the work to be invited into the living room and then fall on your face in front of the client. You've got to do that work now. That's the unsexy part of what we do in real estate, is preparation. So you got to sit down, go through this stuff, come and see me, come and see Anthony, come and talk to anybody to make sure that you're not going to fall on your face when you really need to step up. Develop those strategies. Let's see. Sometimes the most important thing we can do is simply take action. Just get down to it. Planning, all the cerebral stuff is great. Once we sit down with a pen in our hand and a notepad and we start making some notes and doing stuff, that's where the magic happens. And these whiteboards are awesome because you can come in here and you can start with a couple of friends putting ideas on a board. And it's amazing how you'll see those ideas grow as more people bring their own personality to the equation. And if I sat down and had a half an hour meeting with Parnian, I can guarantee I would come away from that meeting with new ideas that I want to flesh out and think about that I never thought of before. And she's thought about it. And she's willing to share them, and she's willing to talk about it. So the brain trust that you have is immense. And everything that you use around you is going to make you a better agent. Problem is, agents that are afraid to ask for help or they're afraid to ask those questions, they become very dangerous. We had some demonstrations of this in the last week. Agents who are running before they learn to walk, and they don't realize certain things about our industry because they've heard about it, but nobody ever gave them an example, such as something as simple as when a buyer gives us an offer, and for services, they write in seller's choice, which, for the record, I don't like seller's choice. If you ever end up in a courtroom and you've written in an offer, seller's choice, the judge is going to ask you, who are you looking out for? Your commission, like the quick fix, or your client? And when you put seller's choice and you represent a buyer, automatically you're not looking out for your buyer. You're looking out for you. So instead of seller's choice, I will invite you to put any mutually agreed upon company. It's going to be the same end result. When you put seller's choice, somebody has to put into a counteroffer who you want for title and escrow. When you put any mutually agreed upon company and the listing agent puts in who they want for title and escrow, now you have the ability to say yes or to counter. Same end result without the liability of seller's choice. So in this situation, the seller's choice became a problem because the agent didn't realize they could assist the seller in picking title, escrow, whatever. So in giving it to the seller's confused, like, I don't understand this stuff. I need help with this. Just an education, just a guidance. The agent's like, sorry, it's your choice. Instead of, well, let me suggest to you 3 companies that past clients have used. Call them up, talk to them, find out, how it works into your payment structure, how it's going to work with contact. At Avenue 8, with no consultation with any of us, any of the boots on the ground. Our ownership team created a partnership with, is that title, Endpoint Title and Escrow, powered by First American, great company. Problem is, everything is done through text message. How many of our buyers want to text escrow when they have a question? They don't want to. They want to pick up the phone. We have a relationship with our escrow officer. Get them on the phone. They ask the question. So again, it looked efficient to have Endpoint Title and Escrow. It got to the point there were so many problems with Endpoint, and I had so many one-on-one meetings with the power team at Endpoint to try and get them to understand how we needed to get this done, that I would just stand up in front of meetings and say, do not use Endpoint. Like, it's our company affiliate. Don't use them because I don't want to hear about your problems. Go somewhere else. Don't be a cheapskate. And they would go somewhere else. And that was the only thing that got through to Endpoint, was that I'm advocating to not use them. So when your clients want to know who they should use for inspections or for chimney or for pest control or title or escrow or anything, your job is to give them viable options and educate them on how they should investigate these companies. Call them up. It can be as simple as, I really enjoyed the conversation I had with the person on the phone. That's probably a demonstration how the rest of your relationship with them is going to go during this process. So if you like communicating with that person, services might, at the end of the day, they might all be very similar, but who do we connect with? That's what's important here. And this is the thing that our clients are going to remember. They're going to remember the experience at the end of our transaction. They're not going to remember the details of it. Any of you that have ever bought or sold a home, you don't remember any of the details in that transaction. You just remember, did you like the people that you were dealing with? Either the listing agent and the sellers, if you were a buyer, or the inverse, if you were a seller, the buyers and their agent. That's what you're going to remember. And we're the professionals. We do this all day, every day. Our clients are only going to remember the experience. Make sure it's a good experience. Any thoughts on that? Any questions on that? No, nothing? Sandy, anything in Zoom land? Okay. So all of this leads me to something that I read this morning. I was in pretty early and I was reading some stuff, and I really liked the way this person explained it. They said, showcase to our clients, showcase the complexity and then deliver the simplicity. It is a great way to manage everybody's expectations. When you can sit down with a client and go through all of these questions that you can ask them that's going to help them, and then all the other stuff that I've got on these two sheets right here, you plant a seed in their head. Holy cow, this person really knows what they're doing. And then our job is to make sure that they never experience any of the pain points from the complexity of it, because we're good at what we do. So what I always used to say to a client, the short form version of this was, my goal is to keep you informed. I'm going to stay 2 steps ahead every step of the way, so I can keep you informed and keep you 1 step ahead throughout the entire process. Because I know how to anticipate what's coming in transactions. I know how to read the buyer's body language. I know how to communicate with their agents. We all know that here in Southern California, the buyer's going to write the offer and then they're going to renegotiate, right? They're going to do inspections and they're going to ask for something. It's just we just expect it. But what if we get out in front of that so that the buyer understands, don't ask for the renegotiation? What if our prior planning is as simple as having a pre-listing physical inspection done on the home before we put it on the market? Having an inspector come out and tell us broad strokes, how does the house look? Yeah, your seller is going to pay, $400, $500, $600, $700 to get that done. But if that's going to save them $100,000 request at the end, because the buyer didn't have that information and now they want to make a request, it's a pretty good investment. Just like having all of your disclosures done and complete up front. Imagine you do everything up front And before a buyer submits an offer or before the seller gives a counter, when they counter back, they give all of the reports and disclosures that are done. So the buyer knows the condition of the property to the best of the seller and the listing agent, their ability. So they can make an informed decision, because buyers are supposed to write an offer, price and terms based on the condition of the home as they know it. And then what do? We have them write the offer, we accept it, then they come in and do inspections. Oh, and now they discover they've read the disclosures and they see the inspections, and now they've discovered everything. And that's what makes that request for repairs the renegotiation. But it's very simple for us as agents to keep them from doing that by giving them the pre-listing inspection and all of the complete disclosures up front, so that they can make an informed decision when they write their offer or sign off on a counter. How many of us have seen in a transaction where we tell the buyer when they're there for a showing, yeah, the seller had a roof leak a couple years ago and their roofer came out to patch it, and they said the roof is nearing the end of its life. And then the buyer, when they make a request for repairs, they want a $25,000 credit or a price reduction to cover the cost of the new roof. Because it wasn't in their disclosures. It was a conversation that was had. Put it in the disclosures. And then when they ask for it, go, well, you should have factored that in when you wrote your offer. That's the way to do it. And in Northern California, from Santa Barbara on north, that's their method. They do inspections on the property, all the disclosures, and it's called a disclosure packet. So agents will say, oh, I have 8 disclosure packets out on this property, meaning 8 interested parties have received their disclosure packet that shows the condition of the property. They don't have the renegotiations up north that we have down here. And we can do that down here too. Because buyers will throw a seductive number out on a house to get the seller to sign off. And then the human psychology of it is that the seller is expecting that number. And now, once they sign off, once they have agreed to an offer, psychologically, they've moved out of the house. The seller does not love their house as much after they sign off on an offer as they did before they signed off on an offer. So that's when the buyer can strike. They can get the soft white underbelly of the seller, and the seller will go, oh, I'm just ready to be out of here. And that's why we do it. So you're going to look like a hero to your clients, and you're going to justify your, whatever your commission is, if you can ameliorate the renegotiation that comes after you accept an offer. Does that make sense? Is that a hand, Glenn? Okay, cool. So all of this should be part of your strategy. This is your mindset. This is what you have when you sit down. If I'm in a living room with a seller, I'm going to talk about what we just talked about exactly the same way. And it makes sense. So the seller's going to go, wow, maybe we should spend that $700. Yeah. And while we're at it, let's get a sewer line video too. Anybody ever replaced a sewer line on a property? Yeah.
Nightmare.
How much was it?
That was 12, 15, 18 years, 17 years ago, it was 15,000.
17 years ago, $15,000.
Today is probably 30, 50.
Complete sight unseen, unexpected. That's a lot of money. Even today, it's a lot of money. 17 years ago, it was really a lot of money. And how much can you get John White or somebody to come out and do a sewer line video inspection for? Like $400? Imagine if you do that and you see that there's something substandard in the sewer line, rather than let the buyer find it and ask for a credit, you disclose it so that the buyer accepts that condition and takes on that responsibility, and it costs you $400 to be able to do that. It's kind of a smart way to go, right? You think your sellers are going to love the fact that they spent $400 and disclosed it, rather than oh, by the way, it could be $25,000 for a sewer line, so we need $40,000 credit for that, because when we know once we trench it out, there's going to be something else going on. We just know that. So be smart about this. You're hired for your experience. Any thoughts, any questions on that? Nope. Again, if your buyers don't understand transaction complexity, they will never value your help and they won't understand what they're paying for. If you close a transaction with a buyer that paid you out of their pocket because the seller wasn't going to pay, and they don't know what they're paying you for, you are not going to get a good review. It's going to make it harder to work with the next buyer because your last buyer is going to go, yeah, I worked with Carmody and I don't know what he did. You might have done 100 things, 200, 500. If you don't articulate it to your buyer, you just failed. Here is a very, very, very simple tip that we can all do. Every single day, 5 days a week, reach out to 3 past clients. Now, if you're new to the business and you don't have 3 past clients, you're going to go through your sphere of influence list. You're going to go through your contacts and you're going to pick the ones that you know the best, not random people that you might have met in a Starbucks. You'll get to them eventually. You're going to start with the people that you already know. And ideally, when you get, if you're new in real estate, hopefully you have done something before as a career that you're really good at. So people trust you and respect you in that career. And if that's the case, reach out to them because they're going to have an immediate acknowledgement that if you were really good at what you did before and you decided to get into real estate, they already trust you to devote the time, energy, and attention to real estate to be as good at it as you were at whatever you did before. Now, especially, you can make a lot more money in real estate than a lot of other industries. So the juice is worth the squeeze. Do the squeeze, okay? Make sure you educate yourself and you let people know on the daily what you're doing to educate yourself. So social media is critically important. And I will generalize with social media. Old people are on Facebook. Old people are more likely to own expensive homes that they are looking to downsize and sell. So you need to be active on Facebook in order to appeal to more people likely to sell. You need to be active on Instagram because Instagram is for bright, shiny, up and coming kids that are looking to buy homes, and you need to be able to show your value on there. So you've got to have a good, well-rounded approach to both. And I've had a few people go, well, yeah, but my Instagram feeds to my Facebook or vice versa. And I go, I get it. Do them both anyway. Have them both. Do a newsletter. How many of you have a CRM that will allow you to send out a newsletter? If you do, your CRM should tell you with your time blocking that we already talked about when to send your newsletter out. And you want your newsletter to go out the same time on the same day every week. You want it to be consistent so people start to expect your newsletter and make it interesting. Put things in there that they will find value in and do it. And I'll give you an example. One of my agents, John Skinner, some of you may know John. John Skinner is the uber athlete, right? Played college basketball. He coached college basketball. He's the sports go-to guy for USC. Like the school sends the sports people to him and everything. And he's got a blog called The Skinny on Real Estate. It's a play on his name, Skinner. And he came to me a few years ago and he goes, man, I devote like 4 hours a week to my blog, to my newsletter. And he goes, I get nothing from it. And he goes, I think I'm gonna quit doing it. I said, John, don't do it. He said, why not? It's 4 hours. And I go, because you don't know what seeds it is planting. So he ended up stopping The Skinny on Real Estate. Just stopped it. Didn't announce anything, he just stopped it. Then about a year later, he came to me and he goes, I kind of miss doing my blog. I kind of miss doing it. I go, you should start it up again. He goes, aren't I going to look flaky if I start it up again? I go, no way, John, you're not. You're going to look great. You know what happened? John restarted The Skinny on Real Estate and his phone started blowing up. People calling him going, oh my God, I love this. I look forward to this every Friday. And then it just quit coming and I've missed it. And John would say, why didn't you ever tell me that you were reading it? I know you're busy. I didn't want to bother you. That conversation came from some very influential people, by the way. Very, very, very influential people. Some of the deans at USC followed it. And they were like, thank God you're doing this again, because we were starting to forget about you. So every little thing you can do, even if your update goes to them and they don't even open it, the fact that they saw it in their inbox is a ping on their brain. Okay? It's a ping on their brain. Glenn, yes.
So this is my newsletter that I send out every month.
Okay.
I get it from Old Republic. And I send 200 out every month.
Now you send that out in paper or you email, you e-blast it out.
No, I send it out first.
Okay.
I write their name in.
On paper. Can I see it?
Just at the back here.
Can I see it? Can I embarrass you publicly? Cool, thank you. See, I knew the answer to that before I asked. So this is Glenn's flyer that he sends out, his update, 200 people every month? Every month, okay? It's fantastic. It's got a lot of cool information on here. It's got some health and safety tips. Okay, health and safety, critically important in real estate. Don't get me started on agents hosting open houses alone or going on late night showings with unknown buyers by themselves. You can end up in a trunk with duct tape and zip ties. You don't want to go there. You don't want to do them alone. And I don't care if you're a 6th degree black belt in 4 different disciplines of martial arts, somebody is still going to be able to club you over the head like a baby seal and stick you in the trunk of your car. So this is fantastic. Now, I will say this. I'm 58 years old and I was blessed with 20/20 vision. I have perfect eyesight. Right. So as I look at this, what is this, 4-point font? Okay, it actually looks like it's maybe an 8 or a 10-point font. If we're sending this to clients, how much time, what is short attention span theater? How long? 3 seconds, okay? They're gonna open your envelope or they're gonna cut the tape and they're gonna open this. They're gonna give you a focused 3 seconds to look at this and it's gonna look like this. Right into the trash. They can't read it. They're not gonna grab their cheaters. They're not gonna get the magnifying glass. It's like waste of my time. It's going in the trash. So I will invite you, you got some dead space, you know, your mailer site here, maybe do 20% less information, do it in a bigger font, do it in a bolder type, you know, you pick the Times New Roman or whatever, and there's some of the fonts, same size, they're easier to read because they're bigger. So this, when I thought about this a few years ago, I went, oh man, I blew it for years because I did the same thing. Sending these out, I had the newsletter, I had the whole website, I had everything, and I was mailing these out, and I did the same thing. I got to cram one more thing in my flyer this month.
I do this.
And then I realized,
Yes, Sandra's is much better than mine.
she's got a book. All right. She's okay.
She's on top.
Is this an annual that you do? How often do you do this?
It goes out like every quarter or my quarter.
Every quarter? It's guys,
It doesn't get me anywhere. I haven't gotten anything.
it's a legit
Quick.
magazine.
Been doing it. Is that reminder?
I've been doing it for like 2 years.
Okay. So again, one of the biggest mistakes that we as agents make, we give away information, we don't ask for a response.
Yes, true.
When you see anywhere you are online and you see a poll and it asks 4 questions, would you rather, boom, 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 we're more likely to hit that poll and submit. But when it asks the 4 questions and we hit submit and it goes to the next page and there's 4 more and then 4 more and 4 more and 4 more, I'm done, I hit the X. okay? Short attention span theater kicks in for me. And I'm done after 4 sets of 4. So with our mailers, less is more. Now, same thing goes with our MLS copy. Don't write the freaking Bible. You don't need to explain every detail about the neighborhood and the home and the color palette used. No. Tell them it's awesome. Highlight something really cool. How many beds, how many baths, how many square footage? Does it have a view? Does it have a pool? And it's easy to show. Make them come and want more. Because if you write the Bible, I saw an MLS description this week, guys. I swear to Christ, it was this much on the MLS. It was easily probably 5,000 characters. Should be 500 on the MLS. It was crazy. And it repeated things over and over again. So remember, you have to get somebody's attention to make them want to call you. That magazine is beautiful, Sandra, and I want to see that again after the meeting. But let's talk about it, because we have to work with human psychology. That's what we're dealing with here, Glenn.
So from this mail, I got 30 responses. They called me and said, we love this. What do you love the most? It's your recipe at the back.
Yeah.
You what?
Recipe.
What is the name with the reminder?
Yeah.
Does anybody not like food?
But at least that it's
Okay.
fun.
Not like food?
Yeah.
Guess what? When you send out things that people are going to take interest in, they're gonna comment on it, they're gonna love it. My wife, when she met me, would burn water if she tried to boil it. She was, this is a woman, there was a force field around a kitchen, keep her away, something bad will happen. She tried to burn the house down one time. Now she finds recipes in random places and she'll go, babe, I found this recipe, and I go, do it. It looks really hard. It's a recipe. It's not hard. And then she'll try it and she'll be so worried that I'm going to hate it. And it's always good. Recipes are one of the best things we can, especially now we're going into holiday season, right? We got the Jewish high holidays coming up like in 10 days. And then we're rolling into everything between now and the end of the year. Food is a way of life, guys. So appeal to people with food. Food, animals, kids tend to hit every element of society with things that will help you. And the goal is you want the people in your sphere of influence to come to rely on you as a resource. I knew that I made it as a resource when I got a call from a client one day in the car, and he said, hey, I'm in the car with the new wife. We're driving to Santa Barbara. Complete impulse. We don't know where to stay. Neither one of us have ever been to Santa Barbara. And I said to her, I know who's gonna know. Call Carmody. And I'm like, yes, got him for life. So I got a little information, hung up the phone, made a call and went, hey, where's a good place to stay in Santa Barbara? And there was one ranch that I had stayed at years before that's not on the beach. It's like in the canyon, and I think it burned down since then. So I call back and I go, Mike, are you looking for the beach? Are you looking for the canyon? And he said, now we want the beach. Good. The only option there, like on the beach, was the Four Seasons, right? I was at Sotheby's at the time. So I called Four Seasons. Get on the phone and I go, hi, I'd like to speak to one of your managers about a reservation for a client. Oh, please hold. Boom. And I get on the call with whatever, Anita, whatever her name was. Anita, this is Scott Carmody with Sotheby's. Boom. Sotheby's credibility, right? Didn't need to know Sotheby's Realty. Oh, hi. How can I help you, Mr. Carmody? One of my best clients is on his way to your hotel right now. Do you have a really good oceanfront room available? Yes, we do. Great. He's going to want that. Do you have a really nice bottle of champagne that can be in an ice bucket in the room? Absolutely. Cool. I'm going to have him come and ask for you when he gets there. Can I do that? That would be ideal. So I called him back. I go, Mike, you're gonna walk in, you're gonna say, can I speak to Anita, please? And Anita's gonna take great care of you. Scott, I so appreciate it. Boom. I didn't pay for the room. I didn't pay for the champagne. I didn't do anything. He had the best weekend of his life. He's like, oh my God, they treated us like royalty. Who are you and what did you do? Made a couple of calls. Now let me ask, how many of you, if a client called and said, hey, I know that you know information about X, Y, and Z, how many of you would call the hotel, ask for the manager, ask a few questions, plant the seed that your uber valuable client is coming in? It took me probably 10 minutes, and that guy is a client for life. And I work with, he's in the music industry, I work with. All of his clients know to call me. I met some of the coolest musicians on the planet because they said, hey, Mike says to call you. Thank you very much. So it's easy to do and it doesn't cost anything. But we get so tied up in all the other stuff that we don't just stop to think about the human psychology of what we do, which is take care of people. Glenn.
So just for your information, in Waveland, India, if you're looking for a place in Santa Barbara or close to Santa Barbara, Kevin Cosner has a ranch that he has, he rents out, it's like a hotel.
You guys really ought to be in the room. It's way funnier in person.
In Montesino, overlooking the ocean, it's really cool, so.
Good.
Can I call you?
It's good to be the resource. And I always say, when my clients are calling me looking for a car broker, where to go for a wristwatch, where to go for clothing, or where to go on vacation, I know I got them for life. When a client thinks to call you, you've become the resource to them, whatever it may be. So which means in your newsletter, your flyer update, your email, whatever, your social media, update them on what's going on. Joe.
By the way, were you, the ranch that burned down, were you trying to cook over there too?
No,
No.
no, never took my wife there. Yeah,
Okay, just one,
it's before I met her.
one more thing, you were talking about Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So we've been working with an agent, Joe and myself, and Alpha. She comes in with her client, once the client's done, she takes a video of the place and she puts it on TikTok, and that's where she gets her clients. So she's been bringing all the TikTok clients in, and she is rocking.
Yeah. So TikTok, Glenn brings up TikTok. I don't use TikTok. I'm not that familiar with it. But I've taken friends on vacation and they TikTok everything, you know, they pin every place that we go, you know, every site there is to see. So TikTok can be huge. It's you know, the hot fresh new kid on the block compared to either Facebook or Instagram. So by all means use it. I just say Facebook and Instagram because I'm familiar with them, not because I am a social media guru. I am not. And any of you that follow me on social media, you'll see that 90% of what I post is about my wife. And then 9% is probably about my dogs. And 1% will be about real estate in some way. And generally on Tuesdays on Caravan, I take photographs of houses that are interesting to me. And I get back to the office and I just post the same heading every week. Work, work, work. And I post the photos. That's it. I don't do the addresses. I don't take credit for them. They're not my listings. And anybody that asks me, I go, yeah, call this agent, talk to them, call this agent, talk to them. So I just put it out there so that people know subliminally that I am in real estate. This is what I do for a living. If you are the person that incessantly talks about only real estate, you will be the person that people do anything to get away from. You know, the version of Coyote Ugly where they'll chew off their arm to get away from you. Because nobody cares about real estate like we do, because this is what we do on a daily basis. Cool. Any questions with any of that? Any thoughts on any of that? Please start showing up for Mindset Monday. You will get a look to the insanity that is inside my head when it comes to real estate procedures, things that I have used that work really well. And Not sure of the time yet. We're gonna figure that out. It's probably gonna be like an 11 o'clock on Monday, but I gotta work around. There's so many other things going on and I wanna make sure that I don't wanna inundate anybody with more meetings. The biggest killer of productivity in the corporate world is meetings. Generally, meetings are about meetings. Let's have a meeting to discuss future meetings. Could be an email or a text message. That's it. So I'll work with Sandy. We'll figure out the calendar and we'll go from there. I just want to bring value to you guys. And then Friday, we'll start doing some contract review. And we will go through, we're gonna start with the RPA because it's the Bible for what we do. You have to understand what is in the RPA, what it says, what it does, what it means, and how to use it to your advantage. And I'll have some fun examples of how we've used it over the years.
I just have a quick question.
Yes, Lynn.
How do you feel about like digital newsletters? Like,
You mean like an email, like an
Mhm.
e-blast? Totally fine. Make sure if you're doing an e-blast though, that you're using a system that doesn't automatically get flagged as spam. You can do all the work you want to do, put all the time and energy into it, send it to 1,000 people, 3 of them see it. So talk to Anthony before you pick, method of, what are some of the ones that we like that work that are not getting flagged right now?
At the moment, right now, it's, I keep forgetting the name of it, MailChimp.
MailChimp,
That
right?
is the one that it's actually working at the moment.
Great. So MailChimp is a really good way to go. I was talking to somebody the other day, they got their, you can get the agent email address list from the MLS. You can get it. 90% of what they sent out got kicked back. Invalid address. So a lot of agents' email address on the MLS, not accurate. So you got to go old school. You got to start calling people, getting their updated information if you want to reach out to them and actually be productive.
MailChimp though, up to 500 for free, over that, you have to be on the.
So Parnian says with MailChimp, up to 500, it's free. After that, you pay for it.
Is that from that?
500.
500
Yeah.
plus that you can send out per month, yes.
So,
And after that, it's.
so I would say keep your e-blast to a few hundred people in general anyway. Don't try and do 25,000 people. The way all the systems kick that stuff back, and read it, it's gonna be a waste of your time. Just like if you're farming a big area, written postcards and flyers are hugely beneficial. Make sure they can read it at a glance in 3 seconds or it'll go in the trash, the font size and everything. And keep your farm to 400 or less. And once you have some success in a farm area, do another one that's 400, pick another farm area. Because the number one reason that agents quit farming is too much money. And it may take you 3 years of farming a neighborhood before you ever get one piece of productive feedback, meaning a text message or a phone call. So you got to keep doing it, even with no input from the peanut gallery from your farm area. You got to keep doing it, Sandra.
Since I just sold that home in middle of the city, it's a duplex on Sycamore. I'm thinking about doing, and I should have done it already, not a flyer, but a postcard, a jumbo postcard. What do you think of those?
Well, I like them. What's old is new again. People got away from postcards for a long time because they were seduced by all the electronic stuff. Guess what? Postcards are still done because they work. And it may not work like somebody looks at it and goes, wow, that much money in our neighborhood, I need to sell my house. But how it works is they get that postcard and they look to see where the house was. They look to see how it compares to them, square footage, bedroom, bathroom count. They look at the price and they subliminally see the agent's name. They throw it away. And the next one they get from you reinforces that. What happens is at some point they go, now we're ready to sell. God, what was that agent's name? And hopefully your consistency with your postcards, after your initial blast for a neighborhood, you should be able to send one postcard a month to a neighborhood. Most people, if they're thinking about selling a house, they don't decide within a month. They think about it for a few months. They've got the reasons that they're doing it. They start to compile their information from wherever it comes. Your postcard comes again and they're like, that's right, it's Sandra. We're gonna go with Sandra. So you've got to be consistent with it, even if you get no feedback at all from it. Barney, what were you gonna say?
So what I've experienced with sending postcard, people tend to keep them. Even if it's for, like comparison. Because what's happened to me, gone to opinions. She just takes all these postcards out of the drawer and says, look, I've been keeping these postcards. And I see what my competitions are in that neighborhood, but people tend to keep those postcards.
Don't,
Even
you're not supposed to. open it.
It's the best thing I've ever seen right there. So Barney was talking about people save postcards. I had a little story. I had a client 30 years ago, bought one of the penthouse units on Alta Loma in West Hollywood. Every single year I would go through my client list, who do I want to weed out? People I haven't heard from in a while, maybe yes, maybe no. Past clients, I would always look at and go, leave them in. So no contact with this client for 20 years, none. Get a phone call one day. Hey, Scott, it's so-and-so. I'm thinking about selling the place. Can you come on over?
Wow.
Yeah. I get there. Dude pulls out a banker box and it's got manila folders in it. My marketing folder, it was not just everything I ever mailed him postcard wise. He had every LA Times article or ad that I ever had on any property anywhere, clipped out, taped to a piece of paper in there. He had all the caravans, everything at all. He had a 20-year history of my career saved in there. I never heard from this guy for 20 years. And he followed everything that I did for 20 years. But you know what? You want the stalkers because they're the repeat clients. So you never know what somebody is going to save. And the nice thing about a postcard, it is tactile. It's touch.
He knew he would need you someday.
Huh?
I said he knew he would need you someday.
He did. He
That's why
knew that he would need me someday. And the fact that I continued to mail to him with no feedback at all was huge. So, like this morning, I had to shred some papers and I'm trying to like 4 or 5 sheets and I fold them over once and I go to tear it. They don't want to tear. And immediately I went, we have really good copy paper here. So I applied some muscle to it. By the time I got to the shredder, I got them torn up and I dropped them through 4 pages at a time and they shredded. But I remembered the way the paper felt as I walked from my office to the shredder. Your clients are going to do the same thing. Make your postcards look really great. Steven has got a collection of postcards that he did a few years ago. They blew my mind. They were some of the coolest things I've ever seen in marketing. And then he brought me, because he saves postcards too. He brought me postcards from other agents that work the Wilshire corridor. Oh, we had a laugh fest going through these. Some of these postcards, it's like, oh, we got to have this agent killed. Oh God, look at this one. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be an agent when I look at their postcard. Terrible, terrible stuff. And they still send them.
By the way.
You still have them, I know. So anyway, those are my thoughts for today. Does anybody have any questions? Sandy, can we go to, what do we got?
I have a million questions. I need them out.
We can meet afterwards. You can ask the room if they stay, or you can come to my office and talk. Birthdays, Sean, 9/29. By the way, David is now here. His birthday was last week. Who else? Anybody else?
nope, just them.
Broke a moment. No Chris today. It's with his wife. Cool. To get more business and better.
It's next Wednesday after the team meeting.
Oh, next Wednesday for that. Yeah. Cool. You're gonna want to sit in on this. Boom. Next,
Listed.
new listings. What did we list this week?
Joe, we got Sandra.
Joe and Sandra.
Sandra.
Love it. That's the famous firmament that we've heard so much about?
Yeah.
Finally listed. Nice. Cute house. Cool.
Nice house, wow.
So these-
575 for 4 units?
It's a wreck.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's still, yeah, you gotta put some money into units, right? That's a killer price. I don't know where that is, but it's a killer price.
4 units.
4 units, 575. All right, next page. What do we got?
No, it's triplex and. a
Closings.
storefront.
Do it. By the way, I just gotta say, this list of closings, I know it's not complete. Like, I talked to other agents, they're like, yeah, I closed this property last week. Well, I haven't seen it on the screen, so I don't know where agents are going with that, so. Charlotte closed on hold, congrats. Janice closed, on a lease in Culver City. Boy, there's a whole story behind that, congrats. Kayvon on Montgomery, oh, Lake Balboa, nice. Boy, we do a lot of leases here, huh? Liza and Mona on Louise and Linwood for 2 units for 760. So that's a duplex for 760 in Linwood. Wow. And then Sharam on Fox Hills closed for $1,495,000. What a cute house. Cool. Congrats to everybody. More needs and wants. Who's looking for something right now? Yes, Neelu.
One of my clients, budget premium, good area, wants house, Brentwood, Westwood, or Beverly, some Persian area.
Mhm.
And, I know one, apartment in Beverly's,
Hang on, is this, that, your client wants a $3 million budget, wants a house?
yes,
Is this another client with the
Yeah.
apartment? Okay,
no, and I have, something, one apartment, a condo in the Beverly's, and the owner is very negotiated.
how much is it? What do they want? Flexible.
Right, yeah. 1.5 and.
So they're asking 1.5 and they'd love to see an offer.
And I can wrap it to better price,
And it's where?
Beverly,
Beverly?
is
Beverly Hills?
better,
For 1.5 for a condo.
yes.
Great. If you got anybody looking for a condo for 1.5 in Beverly Hills, reach out to Neelu. Cool. Who else? We are a content bunch. Nobody has any needs? Joseph?
Sorry for going through that door. Apologize.
Well, maybe next time we'll put the on the inside. Yeah, anyway. So very funny. Yes, Astrid.
Open house on Tuesday for the Brentwood house.
So Astrid's got a really cool lease on North Bundy above Sunset in Brentwood. Gonna be open Tuesday on Caravan,
Just reduce the price.
just reduced to how much? 26,800. It's gated and it's a lot of house. And if you got clients looking for a high-end lease, come and see Astrid and bring her an offer if you don't like 26.8. Yes, clients.
So we have, Joe, Alpha, myself at, Barrendo in the Koreatown, 2 apartments right now. One is a 1-bedroom and one is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, for lease. We've also got on the Hauser, 2227, Hauser Boulevard is a town, yeah, it's a townhouse, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathroom, 45.50 a month lease,
A 4-bedroom townhouse for how much?
45.
On Hauser for $45.50 a month?
Which I'm showing today, by the way. And then we have Brighton, 3915.5 Brighton, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, for lease.
And how much is Brighton?
Brighton is 35.
3,500 for 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. That's good. Anthony.
Janice has her, so.
Janice has a hand up.
One more.
Oh, one more.
We've got
Please
2
hold.
leases on Hampton, in West Hollywood. One is a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. The other 2 are on the lower level, they 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. Also leases.
In West Hollywood. For how much?
3,900.
Just make up a price, guys. Just, it's okay. You don't need to know what the price is. Just, here's where it is.
Yeah, just.
If you like it, come again. All right. Cool. Janice.
I have a want.
Oh, hang on. You're very, very, very mute. Hang on. Try
Uh,
now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I have a want. I'm looking for a for lease. 3-bedroom townhouse with private garage. Up to 4,200, and it could really be anywhere from Tarzana to Pasadena to Westchester. And everything in between. It's possible.
So basically anywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
Will they go up to 45, 50?
Will they go to 45, 50?
No,
Can you come down?
Just came down.
Right, so it's a trend.
Yeah.
You should probably go see, is that Hauser we're talking about?
Yeah.
Probably go see Glenn's Hauser. What time are you gonna be there today?
We'll see.
He's gonna be showing it at 4:30. Maybe you could beg Glenn and tag along and see it, just in case. Maybe.
If you like, you can come through, I'll be there.
They'll be there.
So don't-
All right, but you planted the seed. All right, what else? What do we got here?
And then I have a price reduction in my very little lease, which is 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, and an ADU.
So Giselle has a price reduction on her 5-bedroom, 5-bath Beverly Hills lease with an ADU. It's a house and it's how much now? 9,900 for 5 beds, 5 baths. Does that include the ADU
Yes,
in Beverly Hills?
yes.
Oh, come on. Come on, guys. Somebody's got to have somebody to, you can walk down the street and ask people and you're going to lease that out. Congrats on that. Yes, Neela.
Just for a zip code 90024.
90024.
It's brand, they want, the budget unto 5 million. Where wants the brand new or new construction house.
Brand new or new construction. Now, a lot of clients say they want new construction, and then when you ask a lot more questions, you find out that a 5-year-old house is good enough for them. Do you know what they consider new construction?
They don't want to do any construction or any repair, anything, that's why they're.
But their budget's 5 million and 90024, you ought to be able to find that, right? Have you called Larry Young?
I show them. Whatever they see,
They don't like.
Have you called Larry Young?
No.
Call Larry Young, talk to Larry, tell him I sent you, and use Berkshire Hathaway. Tell him what your budget is and what they're looking for. And if he doesn't have it, he's probably gonna know who does.
What was your requirement?
New construction or brand new?
They don't wanna do any work.
Just 90024.
You want, I have 2 for you. On Kelton, next door to my Kelton, and there is one on Kelton. Before you go, you reach
Is
people.
our market fine?
This is not on the market, they're under construction.
Okay, I have two clients.
See, you speak up and the magic happens, guys. Good job. All right.
This thing on.
Parnian, yes?
Hollywood Hills is still available if someone is looking for a craftsman.
Craftsman in the Hollywood Hills where?
169 Falls Forward.
And it's how much?
Nichols Canyon, 2.5.
Nichols Canyon,
It's
2.85?
a really beautiful property.
I wanna see that.
They go in the place.
I know.
Great. Next time you have it open.
It's a
I wanna-
really,
wanna
really
see it.
beautiful
Cool.
property.
All right, anybody else? Astrid? What do you mean in the building? I doubt it. It's Douglas Emmett is very much no solicitation. Yeah. People have been asked to leave other DE buildings we've been in because they go knock on doors and they talk to people they already know. Yeah, very tight. We can find out though. Yeah, Anthony.
But now we have the TV that it actually faces this.
Right.
Outside.
You guys are gonna notice in our lobby, both TVs are now up and running. So if you have a listing that you wanna have on the TV for people to see that go by, we need high-res photos and you need to reach out to Anthony to get that onto the Jumbotron in the lobby. Joe?
I have to really thank Anthony, he's been great. I had to brand my reel, put it on Instagram, jumped on it, if anything I wanted, I just, communicated with him what I want, and he was able to direct me or fix it or do it. Email and what you need, with the right information, and he could take that.
And I second that.
He will. He will. You know, that was a compliment for Anthony in marketing, and I'll tell you, there's a reason that I've kept Anthony close for the last 14 years. Marketing people, they tend to kind of get a little bit of a rock star mentality going on, and you need them for something, and they just show you the hand. I don't have time for you, right? They're super busy. I hate that. I hate that. Our job is to support all of you. That's it. The more money you make for the company, the better we look and the more they leave us alone, which is what we want. Very simple. So I think Anthony is absolutely the best, just like the heart and soul that Sandy puts into this office blows my mind. So we're only getting better by the day, onward and upward. So keep your feedback coming. I don't want this meeting to run long. We're already 12 minutes late. Is there anything else we missed? Cool. We are done, guys. So watch out for the email for Mindset Mondays and for some Friday RPA training. We will go